Do I get divorced or not? Should I stay? Should I leave? Do we try a little bit more? You're here wondering. You're torn with the dilemma. You've thought about this a couple of times, more than a couple of times. You've even done a list of pros and cons for both decisions. And every single time you think, I am done with this, I just can't go any further. You take a couple of days to think about this because at the end of the day, you don't want to rush such a big and important decision that it impacts not only your life, but another person. And if you have kids, your kids' future. And then you talk yourself out of it. My name is Anna, and I'm an empowerment coach for ambitious women who are considering divorce or separation from your long term partner. And I'm here to help you bring clarity. My desire with this podcast is to provide commentary on all the scenarios and thoughts that will be going through your mind, to help you get nuance, apply nuance about your situation, and provide discernment, to help you drown out the noise of online advice and kind of be a one stop to help you make that decision. I was in the same situation a couple of years ago, and I was wondering whether there is a future for us. And I was thinking what that future would look like, what would need to happen for us to continue together. And then there were days that I was thinking, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's not that bad. Like every couple goes through challenges, you know? And then there became a phase when I was thinking, well, maybe I am the problem. I need to fix myself. So what did I do? I went up, signed up for the courses, how to fix your relationship, how to learn to communicate better. I looked inwards and worked on my traumas. I worked on myself so I can be a better partner. I signed up for courses to help me communicate better. So I'm more effective communicator as to not trigger him. So I'll know how to position my sentences so I'm not triggering his defensiveness. And then there was a phase where I was considering, oh, well, maybe the couples therapy will help us resolve this. And then even when I was considering therapy, I even sat down and thought, okay, so even if we go through this couples therapy, and even if he changes, do I still want to stay with him? And I was thinking, okay, how will couples therapy help us? Can I wait for things to change? And there were moments when I thought to myself, and I was thinking, I don't even know him. I don't even know myself. I don't even know who I am anymore because I was at the stage where I was leaving my old identity, but this new identity of who I am hasn't fully clarified, hasn't fully developed, and I was stuck in this void, not resonating with who I was before, but also not knowing who I am moving forward, and thinking to the times when we just started together. I've changed so much. We've both changed so much. And I felt like we were growing apart. But then on the other hand, I grew up with the thinking that every couple goes through problems. Marriage is hard work. This is the message that I grew up listening to. Marriage is hard work. You have to work for it. You need to try harder. Maybe you're giving up on it too soon. You need to fight for marriage. Everyone just gives up so easily nowadays. Those are the messages that kept coming through my mind all over every single day in and day out. And I was wondering, okay, what else can I do? Because marriage should be the effort. And the worst part of all of this was feeling alone and lost. And there were times where I was considering, who do I even turn to? Who do I even turn to? My family, like when you think about it, your family is emotionally involved because they want what's best for you. In most situations, when it comes to family, they just want the best for you. Or, even their takes will be clouded by their own perception of marriage and the way they've been programmed to deal with marriage issues. They will have their own perception of what you should do. And I was like, okay, I don't want to go to my family because They will probably give me something. They don't know the ins and outs of our marriage. For a long time, I didn't even share the challenges of our marriage because at the end of the day, I didn't want for their perception of my husband to be clouded. I didn't want to ruin his reputation. So I didn't share anything. And now, all these years later, I'm going to come out and say, oh, we're having this and these challenges, and these are problems. They wouldn't be able to give me that kind of perception, that kind of uh, objective opinion about it. If you go to your girlfriends, your friends, they will probably tell you to leave him because you can do better, because they want better for you. And then if you go online, the online is advice is full of hot takes, one-liners, 2-minute video, 1-minute video. This is what you should do if he does that. You need to dump him, or you need to try, you need to work on yourself, reflect, look within and see what is this telling you. How can you change yourself so that he will change himself? As if the complexity of the relationships can be boiled down to a hot take in a 3-minute video. It can't. And then you look at the comment sections of Reels and TikToks, that's even more confusing because there will be full of various different opinions and for staying against it. And then you're even more confused. And you don't even know, you can't even know who you can tell this information about your dilemma because, like, you don't want people to blow it out of proportion because you're still unsure and this void of in between, and don't want people to take it as a done deal and as if you've made your decision. And then they might start talking, and then any potential for reconciliation will be out of the water. As someone who has had to make this decision, in this podcast, I want to talk about it from a personal perspective of what helped me make the decision and feel at peace with it. I was stuck in a loop for a very, very long time because there was nowhere to turn to. Most online advice talks about what to do when you already make a decision to get divorced. Nobody talks about this period of in between when you're not sure whether to stay or to leave. So I will talk from my personal perspective of what helped me make the decision and how I got to a space where I felt at peace with it, where I reconciled all of the emotions, where I considered all of the aspects or majority of the aspects. As a coach working with women who are in the same dilemma, I'll give you some points to consider to help you bring clarity so that you can see, you can reflect on which part you play in this and to which extent it is your responsibility to do certain things and to which extent it is his responsibility to address it. This will not be the podcast to tell you, oh, you have to get divorced or not. I'm here to provide you clarity. The decision is ultimately on you. I'm here to help you provide nuance, to help you balance, to bring balance to what others might see as feminist views, because I don't want you to go online and search and everyone will be telling you, dump him. You don't need him. Move forward. I'm not here to take sides to for hyper individualism. I want you to make a decision to help you figure out what feels good for you. What is a good decision for you at this stage of life without us pushing for hyper individualism. So you will only be and hyper independence where you're only focusing on yourself, where you're cutting off everyone without consideration of that we as human beings, we need others, that there is a level of healthy interdependence in relationships, in the community, in friendships, in family relationships. There is a healthy level of interdependence. But also, I'm not going to push you in the direction where the future of your marriage is conditional on your abandonment or making yourself small. I don't want to push you in a direction where you are bending yourself over backwards to change yourself, to position yourself in a certain way because that's the only way for the marriage to work. No, I want to help you find the middle ground. I want you to thread the fine balance between those two areas, and for you to be for you to make a decision that makes you feel fulfilled, happy, certain, at peace with your decision, so you know what are your next steps forward. If you decide to choose to stay, then how do you move forward from that? Or if you decide to choose to leave, what are your next steps? My desire for this podcast is for it to be a safe space for you, somewhere where you can tune in to listen to a perspective from a mature person, from someone who has gone through this decision making, who has been in the same dilemma, and who has taken months and years to consider all of the advice online, who has been on the side of the extreme feminist takes and on the other side of extreme takes and uh, advocacy for staying in the marriage and making sure that you look within yourself and change yourself so that your reality around you will change. And I had to discern what was right for me. And I had to unpack all of those beliefs, all of those thoughts, and figure out what felt right. I didn't want to be pushed into either of directions, and I had to take all of those takes into consideration to make a right decision that was right for me. And I want to provide you for some of the thoughts and perspectives that you might not have thought, as someone who has also considered whether I am the problem and looked inwards and figured out to which an extent I was responsible for what was going on. From someone who took accountability for my part of it and had to make a decision that was the best for me this stage of my life. My intention is that after you've listened to this podcast and you've gone through the episodes, is that you will be clearer on what is your stance and where you stand in your decision, in your dilemma, whether to stay or get divorced. And if you still have any questions, if you still have some situations that I have not covered, scenarios that require a little bit more nuance to this conversation, and that you can come to me and ask questions, you can apply to see whether we are a good fit together, and I can support you in making that decision while applying discernment and consideration to your specific circumstances. This is not going to be a solution for everyone. This is going to be a solution for most. But if you need further support, if you need further clarification and help figuring it out, there will be an option and there will be an opportunity for you to explore whether you can work with me or not. So, with that being said, I want to add that you will probably find that some of these scenarios that apply to your intimate relationship overlap, and there are similarities within your immediate or wider family dynamics and friendships. And I wanted to mention that a lot of what I mentioned in here in this podcast applies to these relationships as well. There are so many lessons that you can take away from these episodes that will not only apply to your partner, to your marriage and relationship, but to your other relationships with your friends and your family members. So please keep your mind open to receive guidance on what to do in other dynamics. And I even address certain things in an individual episode. So please look out for that. I feel it is very important that I put a very crucial disclaimer in here. This is not a resource to bash men. This is not a platform nor a space to put all men into one box, into one basket, and spread hate, initiate gender wars, and say how all men are the same. No, far from it. I completely understand that in these situations, they are complex situations, and there will be so many emotions on both sides. And I want to acknowledge that they are all out. I also want to express that this is a resource for women in a very narrow and specific category and niche who are going through very specific challenge one or two or more. It is for women who are having such experiences as a guiding point on what to do in specific scenarios. This covers most common scenarios my clients have gone through and some of the scenarios that I've been through and a perspective I've shared with my clients. Please remember that not everything in here will apply to you. Take what resonates and what speaks to you, the circumstances that speak to you. Keep an open heart and an open mind in this situation. Some things might be triggering, some things might be difficult to hear, some things might apply to you. Whatever it doesn't, please skip over that and ignore it. To any men listening, this is not meant to put the whole blame and responsibility on you, nor is it to say that every man does such things. It is simply a resource to provide nuance and depth to the conversation and in specific scenarios. If something I say triggers you and bothers you, sit with it and explore it, or get in touch with me to coach you through it. If you've noticed that your wife is listening to this, there still might be a chance for you to fix this, or at least change things up on your side. If your wife has already made a decision to part ways and you have some very heavy feelings about it, I hear you. I see you. You are in a position you might not be able to reconcile things with your wife, but that doesn't mean you can't learn and take some takeaways from this podcast. We'll get some new perspectives and new ways of thinking and different understanding of what has gone on in your marriage and how did you end up in this situation. If you're finding it hard to move forward and you're hurting, please do reach out to me and let's see in which capacity can I support you. To everyone listening, welcome. Sit back, get a cuppa, and let me be your friend for the moment. With all my love, Anna.